We've just got off Explora I and the MSC Bellissima, the luxury cruise line that everybody's talking about, and the world's biggest cruise line, MSC, on a vanilla cruise around Japan. Now in this video, we want to look at some reasons why you might not want to book the luxury line Explora Journeys. Let's get into it. Now, just before we start, this is not a bashing video on Explora Journeys, just before the comments start flooding in below. Explora Journeys and Explora I is the best ship that we've ever been on. It's beautiful, the staff are lovely, and the food is fantastic. But all of that does not mean that it's right for everybody. And that's what we're going to look at in this video. So let's start with number one. And the first reason that you might not want to book Explora Journeys is entertainment. So if your ideal cruise includes huge production shows and Broadway-style theatre, stunt performers, ice shows, all that type of thing, then Explora is not going to deliver that. The entertainment is deliberately intimate. Think lounge singers, small live vocals, jazz, maybe some themed nights. It's lovely, but it definitely is not spectacular. Coming straight off the Bellissima, as we've just done, the difference is enormous. MSC's nightly entertainment dwarfs Explora in its scale and its energy. It has acrobats, it has magicians, it has sand artists, it has world-class tenors. All these things cannot be done on an Explora ship, but they can be done on one of the mega ships. So if entertainment and big scale entertainment is your thing, maybe that's a reason to skip Explora this time. Reason number two is if you need a lot of activities and a lot of things going on the ship. Now I did a comparison and I said that Explora is like a 5-star boutique hotel. I'm not the only person to say that. But a mega ship or a big ship is more like a 5-star resort. And on the big ships, you are going to have the go-karts, the surf riders, the weird little arms that go off the side of the ship, the climbing frames and the water slides. But on Explora, you're very much going to have to entertain yourselves. They still have all the usual cruise ship staples like quizzes and some game shows and maybe some small activities. But there's none of this big top deck water slide action going on Explora. You will have to entertain yourselves by sitting by the pool and relaxing. So if you're traveling with kids who need a lot of entertainment, then Explora might not be your first choice. It does have Kids Club and it is of course welcoming to children. Up on deck 10, I think it was, they have the Nautilus Club, which will have Xboxes and PlayStations and I think a foosball table. And it has members of staff who will take care of children on board as well. But it's not in the same league as some of the bigger ships like Bellissima or like the Icon of the Seas, which are literally geared up for huge entertainment and huge activities, whether it's water slides or surfing or the go-karts I mentioned before, F1 simulators on the MSC ship. All of these, they had teen area, kind of like middle school area and a kindergarten area with staff who will help people colour, will help people play games. It is much more geared up for a holistic family experience. Explora, if your kids can entertain themselves, job done, excellent. If they enjoy being in the swimming pool and reading a book by the swimming pool, perfect. If they need a little bit more stimulus, and they really do, or you want a little bit less time or more time to yourself, then perhaps Explora is not the one and you need to look at one of the more family friendly or aimed at, shall we say, one of the more cruise lines that are aimed at families and children, which would be something like Disney, Royal Caribbean, the MSC ships, even Carnival and ships like that. So reason number 4 why Explora Journeys might not be the best booking for you is if you like to have a big party atmosphere on board. When we were on board, it was very, very quiet and the ship was pretty much full. The bars were not pumping. There were people in there. The top deck parties, there was maybe 15, 20 people. When we got off Bellissima on the main promenade, there was probably 200 people dancing on the promenade every single night. So if you're one of those people that likes to go for a bit of a boogie, or you like to see a lot of entertainment and action going on, then perhaps Explora Journeys is not the one for you. Now, this is not a criticism, it's on purpose. They actually have so much space that you can spread out. There are much less people on board this ship, even though it's smaller. You will never struggle for sunbeds or a place next to the pool. You will very unlikely to be in a queue at the bar. So it is a trade-off. But if you do like a party, Explora might not be the one for you. Another reason, number 5, that you might not want to be going on to Explora Journeys, especially for the cost, is if you don't have expensive tastes. The food on board is exceptional, but someone like me, for example, does not crave caviar for breakfast. I don't chase oysters, and I'm not too bothered about expensive seafood or Wagyu beef. I got all this on Explora, and obviously I paid for it. But then when I went on MSC Bellissima, they still had tenderloins, they still had steaks, and they were very good. The only thing was, it was a little bit of a longer queue to get them, of course. But if you don't drink too much, or you don't care about that elevated level of dining, you're essentially paying for inclusions that you're not going to use. Our Bellissima cruise cost about 5 times less, and for non-drinkers like us, it actually offered really incredible value because you only pay for what you use. Now, number 6 is to jump to the other end of the scale. MSC Bellissima was cheap, but it didn't include anything, literally apart from the room, the dining room and the buffet. Explora included everything except pretty much excursions. Now, there are some cruise lines out there, I think Seabourn and definitely Viking, who will offer you excursions within your price. And if you've seen the price of excursions, then you definitely know that this could be a great addition to your cruise. On a port-intensive itinerary especially. Explora does not include excursions, and though they're not as crazy priced as some I've seen, they're still obviously more expensive than lots of other cruises. Now, as a rule, we don't tend to do excursions through the cruise line anyway, because we are very much experienced in independent travel, and cruising is actually, we've come to cruising late. So we do have a whole series on the channel of videos that are no excursion ports. And if you want to get some ideas for those, you can check those out after this video. Now, on all cruise lines, there tends to be something going on, but with Explora, it's much more in the background. I compared it earlier to a boutique hotel, and then the big ships being like a 5-star resort. I stick by that description. And on Explora, though there is something going on all the time, it's very, very low key. Whereas on Bellissima and the Royal Caribbeans, you will have game shows, you will have sports activities going on. On Explora, you only have a pickleball court. On Bellissima, you have a full sports hall, which gives them all the options that you can do. Now, if you're on an itinerary with lots of sea days, this could be important, because obviously the more choice you have, the less chance you are of going to get a little bit frustrated maybe, or bored. If you do like relaxation and just chilling out in your cabin or on the deck, just sunbathing, then of course Explora is a good option. If you needed something a little bit more stimulating than that, then maybe you need to look at some of the bigger ships. Number 8, if you are never in your cabin and you just like to get the cheapest cabin because the ship is going to be your living area, then Explora might not be the best choice for you. The reason being is that a lot of your money is going to go into the 30 to 40 square meter cabin that you get even at the basic level. And the cabin is lovely. Of course it's lovely. Big balconies, expensive furniture, minibar included, including bottles of wine and whiskey and vodka, whatever you want. But if you're not in there to use that, then it's perhaps a wasted expense. If you just like an inside cabin and you're going to explore the rest of the ship, then maybe a bigger ship or a more active ship is better for you with an inside cabin rather than Explora with its all-suite setup and less going on the actual ship. So they're the key reasons that we thought Explora Journeys might need a little bit of thought before you press yes on that booking button. It is not meant as criticism. Explora Journeys does what it does exceptionally well. And though we don't have all that much experience, when we speak to the other YouTubers and the other cruise reviewers, they agree. Explora Journeys is exceptional at what it does, but it cannot do everything. And if you're looking for a cruise with perhaps a little bit more life and a little bit more guidance to what you can and can't do on board, then perhaps you need to look at some of the bigger cruise lines like Royal Caribbean, MSC, Disney even, especially if you're with children. Now, that's not negative against Explora Journeys. It is a luxury cruise line and probably one of the better luxury cruise lines, especially for value. And you can check out more on the ship and on the dining options and on the entertainment in our channel, which I will link some of these videos above and below if we can work out how to do it. You can also check out the website, bucketlistguides.com, where we have reviews of both mega ships and luxury cruise lines, along with all those no excursion ports. Hopefully this video has been useful to you. If it has, you know what to do with that big button down there, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.